It's gonna be on the screen, it's right there, in the lead by computer.
Why would you put it up on the screen?
You don't want me to put it on the screen? I told him, I said, I don't put it on the screen. That was a text message, that time it was counting it. That's when I called.
I just found out today.
Mike. Hi, good afternoon. We'll go ahead and call this public forum to order. We do have a number of speakers, and we do have a number of speakers. So we're going to be doing 2 minutes this afternoon, but I do want to get started on time, so we have full time for everyone. Please turn your cell phone to the vibrate, silence, or off setting. Gary Sansing Public Forum is intended for matters not included on the agenda for the upcoming Board of County Commissioners meeting. Citizens wishing to address items on the agenda, please sign up to speak to such item at the regular BCC meeting. Speakers, please refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protest, or any other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the Gary Sansing Public Forum. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairperson to allow sufficient time for all speakers. At the chairman's discretion, the Gary Sansing Public Forum may end 5 minutes prior to the start of the upcoming BCC meeting to allow the BCC meeting to commence on time. Thank you. Our first speaker is Larry Kelly. Hi.
I'm Larry Kelly at 7014 Nathan Road,
Okay.
and I want to talk to y'all about the housing project that's going on the end of Nathan Road and what all that's going to, how bad it's going to hurt us. But anyway, being as I don't have 2 minutes, I'm just going to have to go through this.
Okay.
If I figure out how to put this on the screen.
I can see something on my screen, sir.
No, I want the text message on the screen.
Yes, sir. I can see it. Or I can see a message. Yes, sir.
Okay. Jeff Bergosh has done a lot to really hurt us, and people need to know about it. The public needs to know about it. And like I say, I don't have that long to talk, but what this was, they were going to pave the ballpark road, and I begged them not to, and I begged them to put a ditch down through there to keep that water off of us. And it was a long story, but anyway, this is a text message that I sent to Jeff Bergosh. And he called me up, and I mean, he cussed me with some very, very vulgar, colorful language. And he told me, he said, we're going to pave that road. And he said, I'm going to tell you something, Larry Kelly. I told him he's going to appeal to the state and the governor. He said, they're our friends. We know them. He said, they're not going to listen to you. They're going to listen to us, meaning all of y'all. He said, they're going to listen to us. And he said, and so after he got through with all of his spiel, he slammed the phone down. Then and I wasn't hot with him or anything. You don't see anything hostile in that text. And then he called me back, or he texted me back, and that's when he said, don't you bother me for anything, nothing. Now, that's not much of a public servant. So anyway, I'm going to just have to shoot through these pictures. This right here is ballpark water. We're right behind on Nathan Road. When they raised that road up, used to it was down low and it had rock in it and it would drain. But when they raised that up, they now it just floods right over us. So this is the ballparks. This is where they flood. They're coming downhill to us. And they come, and there's some more.
Mr.
All right,
Kelly,
here's,
Mr. Kelly, your time is up. I don't know, there are a number of other folks that are speaking about Nathan Road. If they want to flash up a picture or whatever while they're speaking, that's certainly fine. It looks to be eight or 10 people talking about Nathan Road.
can they yield their time to me?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay,
But,
okay. All
but
right.
you can, but they can show, if someone can help them be able to have the pictures up there, if they want to use, if they want to flash the pictures up there during their time speaking, that's okay.
So they can do my pictures.
Sure, yeah.
Okay,
They can do your pictures while they're up there.
All right, well, I
And-
just want to say real quick
Okay.
before I quit, that water going down that road
Yes.
shows you how it used to go. And I begged Jeff Bergosh to pave one way in, one way out, and do a drain, and he said no.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Yes,
Mr.
thank
Kelly.
you.
Jeff, I'm sorry. All right, next.
If I might, we'll listen to all the speakers and then I'll
Okay,
address
sure.
them. Thank you.
Okay. Next speaker is Guy Stevens.
How y'all are today.
Hi, doing well.
I'm also here for Nathan Road. If you guys have any kind of smart device in front of you that can get on Google Maps and put in my address, 7024 Nathan Road, Pensacola, Florida.
Okay. All right, I'm going to listen to you speak, Mr.
Okay, well,
Stevens, not-
I'm here concerned, safety concerns about the
Okay.
housing project that's going to go in at the end of Nathan Road.
Okay.
I mean, it's a real big safety concern because as the way it stands now, it's only going to be one way in and one way out on Nathan Road. The road isn't designed to handle, 110 cars at the most for that place back there, which has 50 units, 52 units. So that's 104 cars, kind of. And it's really a safety hazard. Now, according to a good friend of mine, in order to make that road feasible, they're going to do domain, where you're going to have to put in sidewalks and curbing in order for that road to be serviceable for that many cars. What's that going to do for my property? Dude. Who's on the planning board? Are you on the planning board? Okay, well, anyway, that's going to hurt the kids that are on that road. Also for the development of it, all the construction equipment that's going to go up and down that road, it's going to mess this up. Right now, the traffic jam for Longleaf, as the school's going, yeah, that sucked. As the school is in or out, you can't get out from Nathan Road. If there's going to be another 50 or 60 cars on that road, an emergency vehicle is not going to be able to get in and out. So it's a real big safety concern. I'd like to have your opinions on it, if you have any opinions on it. No? Maybe. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me. Next speaker is Russ Kelly.
Mine's very short. I just wondered.
Yes, sir. Will you please? Yeah, thank you.
I'm wondering why that the contract on Pine Forest Road, which is super, what's it called that? Superior Glass.
Okay.
He has an access in front of his building that goes right down to his property. It dead ends to his 5 acres he's going to build on. Instead, they got our road two-way out, in and out, and we don't understand why he has not had to use that road of his that's already his. And that's all I got to say.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Russ. Our next speaker is Madison Owens.
You can just flip through them, just hit that arrow right there and just leave them just a second, and then just flip through.
Okay,
No, look, right here. right
Got
here.
it.
Just that one.
okay,
Yeah, hit that.
okay,
Just tap it. There you go. All right.
okay,
Keep tapping.
okay. These are the pictures of the water flooding off the ballpark, off the new road, into people's backyards. And it's going to be a hazard for all the kids on the street. We have kids across the street. We have kids at our house. We have 4 younger siblings. There's kids always playing. And there's UPS, there's 4 schools around us that people are just not going to be able to get in and out safely without like a traffic jam or something happening, like anything could happen. But especially with the flooding, we were misled on what was going to be happening. So,
Okay. Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Madison. Next speaker is Valda Waters. And forgive me if I pronounce that incorrectly. I'm sorry? Does okay. All right. The next speaker is Julie Hawk.
Yes, I
Yes, ma'am.
I live at 7013 Nathan Road.
Okay.
And I just was going to say about the apartments that's going to be built down at the end of the way. Excuse me. There are 4 schools down on Longleaf, and the traffic's horrible. And then they have a baseball field, a football field. And then Longleaf cuts through from 29, and it's just so much traffic. Sorry. It's got a ton of traffic coming
Yes, ma'am.
through. You just can't get in and out. So when you add that 106 parking places they're going to have for those, if everybody has at least 1 or 2 cars, it's going to be at least between 70 and 100 cars coming down our little road. And it's a ton of traffic. And even if you decide, you can't even put a red light there because the red light at Pine Forest Road is backed all the way past our Nathan Road half the time. So it's a horrible traffic jam. And the traffic is going to be bad. They're going to be speeding. And then we have UPS that's down there on Longleaf as well. That's traffic all day. And then there's 200 apartments right at Pine Forest Road in Longleaf are fixing to open up. 200 of them. That's going to be, if they have 2 cars apiece, that's 400 more cars that's going to be coming up down that road. We'll never get out of that road. It's just a big traffic jam there. And that Superior Granite that's building those apartments, he has a way to come in and out to those apartments when he builds them. They can go out down there on Pine Forest and make that an exit instead of our little bitty road. And then they're supposed to build those apartments on Wymart, which is going to be coming down Longleaf, and that's even more traffic. So it's just really bad traffic right there.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Rhonda Owens.
I'm Rhonda Owens.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm at 7008 Nathan Road. And I'm telling you, with all the traffic, it's going to be very dangerous for me. It's already been really bad for me since they done the ballpark. They messed up our property. It never used to flood like that. I'm right next door to Mr. Kelly's house, and I have water sitting in my front yard and backyard for days on end. You can't even use the facilities because all the water's backing up.
Right.
And so then if they let all them cars go down, and he has a place to go out on Pine Forest Road, he don't need to mess up our little neighborhood. Our neighborhood is special to us, and our kids are always on close to the road. And if they come to that many cars come down the road, they liable to hit one of our babies, and that's not going to be pretty. And so I don't think it's fair that he gets to come on Nathan Road when he should use his own road.
Okay. All right.
So, and that's what I live with when it rains now because of the ballpark.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Owens. Next speaker is Rhonda Lee Wood.
Well, I'm always here with the flood defenders because it's my property that always gets flooded by the 5 acres that's next to me. And now they're going to develop it, and the county has spent a lot of money to put the berm next to me that's supposed to keep.
Ms. Wood, can you pull the microphone a little bit? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. The county has spent a lot of money to put the berm next to me to keep from flooding. So
Right.
now they're just going to come in there and tear all that up. And the holding pond is supposed to go all the way down, then all the way down the ballpark. Who's going to maintain that? Is the county going to maintain the retention pond, holding pond, whatever it is? The last plans that they had approved to develop that was to be a warehouse, and the exit was on Pine Forest Road. It says 7,000 Pine Forest Road. Now they have an address of 7040 Nathan Road. how do you just get an address? The warehouse he was going to build, the entrance and exit was beside his building out to Pine Forest Road. And now they're going to use our road. So I agree with everybody else, the traffic, our road can't handle it. Our road can't handle the 18 houses that are on that road. And the traffic is horrendous. But I do want to thank the county for the project on Longleaf. It's looking good. It's been a hassle for the last year. There's sidewalks, there's lighting, there's ditches, and there's still water standing everywhere. So hopefully that water will learn how to go down them pipes. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Rhonda. Chris Kerb.
How y'all doing?
Hey, brother.
Chris Kerb with Flood Defenders. Flooding, I'm not talking about traffic, but flooding. I found out about the Nathan Road duplexes in a newspaper article, Pensacola News Journal, but evidently the plans got approved in February, middle of February, for the Nathan Road duplexes. There is a positive thing about development. It is including a stormwater pond with an 18-inch pipe that runs down Nathan Road. And when I found out about this, I sent the plans to the engineering project manager for Longleaf, and been talking with them. I've also been talking with the contractor that's planning on starting work maybe next week. I think this has an opportunity for the county and the developer to maybe improve because the plans for Longleaf include a swell running down Nathan Road. I believe that got added after the October of 21, where Rhonda was coming down here, talking about flooding, and TJ got out there and added some berms and was trying to resolve this issue. But I have been coordinating with the engineering department to try to make this better, and this might be a good opportunity to work with that developer. I do understand the plans are already approved. A development order's been issued. The gentleman that owns the property with what is it?
Granite Company is what they said.
Yeah, anyway, he has a right to develop that property, and he wouldn't have got approved if he didn't meet the code requirements. So, but I think there's an opportunity here for the county to work with this developer and make this a little bit better. I don't know how willing he is, but I do know that engineering staff is on top of this. So, thank you.
All right.
Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman,
Chris.
is there any more speakers
No,
on
that's
that,
it.
on that topic? Okay, I just want to address a couple things. First of all, thanks for coming out. The work that we've done at that park over the last 5 years has improved it. We added a new scoreboard. We did a lot of renovations to the restrooms. Of course, the roads were there, and they were dirt roads before, and our office received a lot of complaints from Mr. Kelly about the dust. The cars would be going up and down the road, the dust. So we were bending over backwards. Janice Gilley at the time was the administrator, and so we actually sent out water trucks to put water on the road so that the dust wouldn't be bad. We were told we should more than likely, in order to make some improvements for drainage there, cut some of that brush and vegetative debris and do some swales, but out of deference to Mr. Kelly, he wanted a buffer zone. I remember that was very important to him. So I told Michael Rhodes, I said, well, let's make sure that, we're show some deference to Mr. Kelly and make sure that buffer zone was maintained, which we did. But invariably, the paving of that road improved the park. We now have a situation where that park is being utilized by high school teams. It was run down. I don't know if you all remember it. I mean, you live next door over the fence, but it was pretty run down. Wasn't getting a lot of activity. Now we have a high school team that plays out there. We have a lot of activities out there. The Bellevue Packers are happy with their field. We've got an adult baseball team that plays out there. I'm told by people who have lived here their entire lives that the park has never been better. Now, separate issue on Nathan Road. I understand it's a very old road, but we have a big project over there right now. We've just spent about $7 million. We've replaced the bridge at Weimart. We're going all the way up and down Longleaf with sidewalks. Big project, big improvement. Eventually, it will cut through with a modern improvement going all the way through Wingfoot over there, but we've got some issues with property acquisition. But a part of that project includes drainage, and the engineering staff is working with the folks that are doing the Longleaf project. So I understand growth has been a challenge, not just on Nathan, not just in Bellevue, throughout this district. A lot of people want to live here. A lot of people want to move here. Good weather, good governance, good governor. And the folks who are developing the property, as Chris aptly pointed out, they have to go through a development review process, which means they have to maintain the stormwater on their property, In terms of where they go in and out egress, that's looked at by staff. If we have to make improvements on Nathan Road, we'll do that. I mean, that's not a tough issue. It's not a very big road. But I certainly wish, if you have issues, call my office. I'll go out there. I'll send my field rep out there. We'll take care of issues. But Bellevue Park has been improved. In terms of what they're building on their property, you know, I know it's difficult. I've seen where I live in Beulah for 20 years. All around us was forests. Now it's all apartments and houses. I understand. It's because people want to live here. But once you set that emotional aspect aside, people that spend money and invest in property, they have property rights. I don't recall this board, in fact, Drew Homer, please come to the podium. I don't recall this board even approving apartments. I've heard talk of it, but my understanding is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Drew, that property was zoned for that. I mean, was that property?
Yes, sir. Heavy commercial, light industrial, future
Okay.
land use, mixed use urban.
Okay.
Nathan Road duplexes is for 26 buildings.
Okay, and so that would not even come to the planning board, or would it?
No, sir.
And would that
Strictly-
come to us for our approval?
No, sir.
No. So here's the thing. If you buy a piece of property in Escambia County and it meets the code, you have property rights. That means, Larry, on your property, you're allowed to do what you want to, as long as it's within code. If you wanted to buy that property and not develop it, you could have done that. I don't like it. You don't like it. We don't like it. But growth is happening in this country and in this community because people want to live here. Now, we'll do everything we can to do the infrastructure upgrades that we're doing. I don't know if you heard, but last year we put over $100 million in projects on the street. We're going to continue to do that. But you have to understand, not every project that gets approved comes before us. We've got a code of ordinances. People that develop property understand that code. They follow the rules. They don't have to come see us. If they want a variance or they want something different, they have to come see us. So, Drew, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I just wanted to make sure my facts were right on that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, again, 595-4910. Call my office if you have an issue. Larry, the text message, you know, I'll own that. I was very upset. You called my office over and over. We sent staff out there. We sent Janice Gilley out there. I sent the director of Parks and Rec out there. We bent over like circus contortionists to make you happy. Where I stopped, my stop point is when you call my office and you're so caustic that my aide, Debbie King Kenny, one of the nicest women I've ever known in my life, is to the point of tears and tells me just exactly what you said to her. I will not tolerate that from you or anyone. You call my office assistant, Debbie Kenny, and you put her to the point she's crying, you're right. I'm done with you. That's all I have to say. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next speaker is Larry Downs, Jr.
I was supposed to have a video up here for me.
Okay.
I was hoping for it. But that's all right. We'll do it without it. Larry Downs Jr. Plumbing, LLC, because fecal matters. All right, let's move on. Let's get on with it. I'm up here to do some more vaccine education that they've spent decades indoctrinating the minds of y'all and everybody else, including my wife. You know, I argued with my wife over these childhood vaccinations. And she finally told me, she said, you couldn't have never convinced me then. That's the one good thing about COVID. It brought a lot of things. But Larry, yeah, I don't trust this new vaccine, Larry, but I trust the old ones. Have y'all heard that nonsense? It's the same crooked chemical manufacturing, peddling, injection peddling, evil pricks. So anyways, y'all tell me if this is right. This sounds right to you, just your logical mind. You take a newborn baby, not even, I'm talking about a newborn, and you go ahead and inject it with 2 vaccine doses right off the rip of chemical concoctions. Y'all know they're chemicals. Come on. By the time they're 24 months old, they have 28 vaccine doses of chemical concoctions to help their developing immune systems, something that has been thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of years of development, natural development, natural immunity. But you know what I think will help a little child's immune system, a little baby, develop? Chemical concoctions by Pfizer, Bristol Myers Squibb, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson. You love that baby powder, don't you? the cancer-causing baby powder. Think about this. Don't put these poisons in your children. MissionObvious.com. Over and out.
Thank you, Larry.
Y'all can check my videos out there.
Thank you. Next speaker is Eric Sharplin.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good afternoon, Eric.
I wanted to start out here by just a short quote, because something on the ECW site, water disaster by Wes Marino in an interview with Andrew McKay. It sounded like to me he'd been drinking. Mr. Rogers is, and we know that Wes does not have a drinking problem and just garbage. But what I want to talk about now is alienation and backstabbing. Mr. Kohler, you say you're a team member? I got a report from Jeff that when you were in Tallahassee, you were running this man totally down. And didn't you come out with a sign at the courthouse for his opponent? How do you expect people to work with you? You're not a team player if you're going to do this, because if Mr. Berry gets an opponent, are you going to jump in and endorse his opponent or Lumen's opponent? I would just think about that, because you had said in your thing you love Jesus and everything, but when you're going around judging everybody, it really does not show. And I'm not lying about what you said about Mr. Burgash. He told me he got phone calls about everything was being said. So I would just think about that if I was you, sir. And you have a blessed day. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Thank you, Eric. Next speaker is Dr. Velda Overbay. Excuse me.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Commissioners. Hello, everybody. My name is Velda Jewel Overby. I am a physician. I am retired. My address is 630 Tellerand Street. That's in Pensacola, Florida, 32534. And today, I'm going to discuss something that was on the agenda, but has been removed at this time, is what I was told. But they said that I should come up and speak anyway. I am also a precinct committee woman from Precinct 112. Okay, I and many other members of the Escambia County Republican Executive Committee sent emails to the commissioners urging this county to cut ties, all ties, with the American Library Association and the Florida Library Association. The American Library Association has made it their mission to sexualize our children using public school libraries. We appreciate you putting this issue on the agenda and ask all of you to vote in our favor and say yes to defunding the American Library Association and the Florida Library Association. Remove their influence from Escambia County schools. Our reasons are many, but here's a few. The American Library Association and its chapters promote books with sexually inappropriate materials to children through our libraries. They promote Drag Queen Story Hour and gender training for teachers. Their leader is an avowed Marxist and insists on this curriculum for the American Library Association. There are many options for school materials besides the American Library Association and the Florida Library Association. And I would like you to join in the other 15 counties in Florida that have already removed this toxic influence from our schools. Thank you all for listening to me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Yeah, before we adjourn. I got several of those letters, and I said that I would...
Jeff, 1 second. Dr. Overbay, you can have a seat.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Jeff.
Yeah, and I said that I would discuss it, I would research it, and I think this is an appropriate time or Commissioners Forum, but do we have any more speakers?
No, we
Steve?
don't.
Okay, so I've asked about that. I've got that same form letter from about 7, 8 people, and I've asked our staff about that. Escambia County does not participate. Escambia County is not a member of the library, American Library. No, you've already had your time. Is not a member. Our staff that were members before, after October of 2023, the state cut ties with the American Library Association. They did hire, or they did elect a new president who has some views that, hey, this is America, he can have those views, but we're not supporting it with the Escambia County tax dollars. So I just wanted to make sure folks realize that. Todd, go ahead and come on up. Let's go ahead and take care of this right now. Make sure we don't want rumors being spread around. My understanding from staff, Ms. Overby, is that we're not spending one red dime of Escambia taxpayer money on the American Library Association. Is that correct?
This current fiscal year, we have not spent one dime of county money. Last fiscal year, yes. In 22-23, before Florida decided they would not do grant activities with ALA, yes, we did have members with memberships.
But going forward, we're cutting ties with them.
I've not renewed any publications from them and not renewed any staff memberships with them.
Thank you.
And we've never had an institutional membership.
Never had an institutional membership. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. No, I appreciate the concerns. I read the letter. I read the links. I understand the concerns. And with respect to us in the county, we're not spending your taxpayer dollars to support that. The school board, they make their own decisions. We have no control over what they do. If you don't like that, I would urge you to go speak at the school board member too. But we're not spending any taxpayer dollars on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep, Commissioner May.
And Jeff, I'm glad you said that, and I'm not going to weigh into that, but if you want to censor books, censor cell phones. I mean, censor all the things that children are exposed to. I mean, so quite frankly, when you look at our libraries, our kids are not checking out books. I mean, look at our periodicals, look at our books. Our kids are being checked out. They're not checking out books. I mean, the danger is the danger where kids are going on social media. The danger of kids are being listening to that. So, I mean, obviously, we want to protect our children as much as possible. Yes. I think that's very important, but we have to look at it holistically.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. We want to get upset about the Library Association. I get it. I don't agree with what they're doing. I'm not for censorship. Everything should be age appropriate. But what Lumen just said is absolutely 100% true. When you give your kids one of these and you don't supervise what they do, it makes the American Library Association and all their propaganda look like child's play. This is a parental responsibility thing, just like a lot of issues we see in this community, just like a lot of issues I saw in the schools when I was a school board member for 10 years. No one takes responsibility. This is a parent issue, but we're not spending money on the Library Association. There.
Board, if there's no more comments, we'll adjourn and reconvene 5:30.